You know what we call that difference between the implied rate and the risk-free rate? It is called the default spread. Okay? It's the difference between the implied rate, which is calculated using the expected value of the payoff, not the promise. But we calculate the implied rate as the rate that's implied by what you paid for it and what you promised to get. So this is essentially the promise rate. That doesn't mean that the rate of return is going to be that. If no default happens, that's exactly how much you're going to get. You're going to earn 8.97% on your investment. But if default happens, obviously that'll differ depending upon how much you've recovered. But you're actually earning only the treasury yield on the expected, using the expected payoff. All right. So is that big or small? So a spread, the default spread, not Fidolt, but you get my meaning. This thing is going to be purple and yellow, light yellow, actually, and blue. Maybe it's also italic. That's a lot. I mean, that's almost 400 basis points. Remember, the basis points, percent of a percent. 1 basis point makes you $1 in a $10,000 investment. Think of it that way. Let's find out, at least based on kind of summary stuff, what kind of credit rating that kind of spread is associated. Let's spend the remaining of this class figuring those out. Market must be really damn. It's NVIDIA. We're good with it. If you go to Fred St. Louis, Fred is a database of economic numbers maintained by St. Louis Fed. Fred is short for Federal Reserve Economic Database. And why am I not getting it? Wi-Fi is gone again. One day I forgot to bring my dongle. It is called the Murphy's Law. Only got about 15 minutes, so let's wait if it's going to come back. Unfortunately, this thing doesn't have an Ethernet slot. Think about it. 10 years ago, all laptops had an Ethernet slot. But now Wi-Fi is so everywhere and so fast, computers don't even put one in. I have a UBS dongle that has a Ethernet slot. Supposedly. Well, let's reconnect. How about you guessed? Maybe it's just the EKUs. Or we can use Trent's iPhone. Who's Trent? I couldn't use my iPhone say connection. It's just done. Let's do that again. Fred. assuming we actually we have internet. Let me use hotspot for my computer, for my phone. I only have one bar, but maybe good enough. Sweet English password. Okay. I'm gonna search for option adjusted spread for single B. That's kind of roughly what it is. What option adjusted spread is, a lot of corporate bonds have built-in options like callable and stuff like that. This is adjusting for those. Again, at this level, you're not going to worry about that. If this was a graduate class, I would have taught you how to do that. It's actually even less than that. 329 is the current option adjusted uh, spread on single B bonds. Let's kind of look at what's been going on the last year or so. Now, about last April, those were around 5.5. That means market was attaching higher probabilities of default and or lower recovery ratios. And but single B is the so-called junk bonds. We actually have ETFs for those. They're single Bs and double Bs. Okay, anything triple C or less, you don't want to touch them. I mean that in that case, C is just for crack, right? Investment grade, the lowest investment grade. In fact, C, triple B, option adjusted spread. That's 120. It's a big difference. It's the corporate bond that is deemed to have investment grade compared to that a single B company actually pays off what you want to call 329. That's about 330 difference. High quality junk bonds, double B, that's 199. Okay, and these are pretty low historically speaking. So our 491 over here. I have to divide notes. Let's see. Let's make that. not 80. A little bit less. I'm just trying to figure out what would get me about 320. Okay, roughly that. That would be, in this case, a single B. Of course, this is just a made-up example of a single cash flow, but it kind of tells you what to do. Figure out the expected cash flow for every single one of those potential payments and use the probabilities of default. And we're gonna figure out actually, typically you get kind of the survival rates, as we call it. There's an expected probability of defaulting within 5 years, 4, 3, 3, 1. We need to figure out the so-called marginal or the conditional ones. Provided that you haven't defaulted until the end of year 4, how likely you are to default in year 5. It's a simple calculation using the laws of conditional probability. Once we have those, we can make all of these calculations, right? That's what we're gonna do. On Tuesday, I will make sure to bring my dongles and stuff so that we won't have any issues. See you guys on Thursday.